Police came for him in the early morning of November 1st, 1724. He was 22 years old.
Holy shit, he's only 22?
Yes. He was lying with his mistresses, drunk as all get out, in his black silk suit. He had a diamond ring and like a big amber, kind of beautiful. It wasn't amber, but it was like an orange stone ring, and a high-end wig with bangs. And they arrested him in his like dashing rock and roll.
He sounds a lot like you.
Maybe I was him in my past life. They arrested him. To prevent the 1 millionth escape, he had 24-hour guards and 300 pounds of weights put on him.
Oh, my God.
He had become so famous in the community that the prison allowed the public to pay 4 shillings, which was a lot back then, to see him. Jack was like super proud of this. He's like, thanks guys for thinking I'm worth 4 shillings, wink. And the king's painter at the time also painted a portrait of him before his execution, and I'll post that on our Instagram. So it's said that as many as 200,000 people, which at the time was a third of London's population, came to see his execution.
Wow.
But more so as a way to like celebrate him because he was beloved in the community. Like he was poor. He was not necessarily self-educated, but he like made it on his own. He was good at something, and he just became this like icon. So they allowed this is amazing and hilarious. The prison guards allowed Jack on his carriage. They took a carriage to his execution because he was going to be hanged. They allowed him to stop on the ride to his death on Oxford Street for an entire pint of sherry, and everyone cheered him on. He drank a pint of sherry. The hanging took 15 minutes for him to die. It was a really brutal, long strangling. So this ties back to a story that we did a long time ago. So he was hanged. He was brought down. His friends were afraid that they were going to publicly dissect him as a way for the crowds to see. Remember that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so some of this, I wonder if this story's been exaggerated through the years. It probably has. But so his friends and loved ones ripped his body into pieces to make sure that they wouldn't dissect him and to spare his dignity. So instead of being publicly dissected like was planned as a way to humiliate him and learn, he was buried that evening at St. Martin in the Fields in London on that cold mid-November evening.
Wow.
And that is the story of our dear hero, Jack Sheppard.
Yeah, I'm kind of in love with Jack Sheppard.
I know, me too. Isn't that a fun case?
Yeah, that was good.
Thanks.
Cheers to that. That was good.
Yeah.
I liked it.
That. Thank you.
That's cool. I've never heard of that.
I know. Apparently he's like an icon in like kind of London folklore or something. Which
was he attractive? Can I get him tattooed on me?
Well, there's a portrait of him. People say he was attractive. He had like big brown eyes. He was short,
but attractive
but, like,
back then was like not attractive now. If you were like a 10 in the 1700s, you're like a 0.5 now. Come on, you know it's true.
Okay, but that's only because we have a different like scale of relevancy. Evolution.
Yeah, because people were fucking ugly back then. Like the movie I've talked about, and I know you haven't seen it, The Circus, with Hugh
There's
Jackman.
The Greatest Showman.
This is the greatest show. Like, so everyone, obviously they're actors now, and they're all beautiful people.
I was going to say, you realize that those people exist today.
No, I know, but like the people they were playing were like butt-ass ugly.
Caitlin, I don't mean to be insensitive, but that was a movie about freak shows.
No, I mean like Hugh Jackman's character and his wife. No, like Hugh Jackman and his wife are pretty, but I mean like
the freaks and the freaks.
No, not the freaks. I mean I'm trying to say people back then were ugly. I'm saying the real.
Yes. No, when you look at pictures,
the real Barnabas or Barnaby was.
Yes. When you look at pictures of people in like the Victorian times and before, like you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Thanks for making me sound like a dick.
You made yourself sound like a Betty Johnson. Let's be real.
Let me talk about my book now.
Oh, yeah. So, Outliers.
Okay. So, I'm going to give away a little bit, but you have to – the book is fascinating. So, it's a nonfiction book, but it's about like success and kind of a different way to look at it. But one really interesting thing, like the first study he goes into, and there's a bunch more, like he talks about Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, your future dog, and all this stuff. But so one really interesting thing to get you, and it really like opens my mind and makes me think about like success in a different way. But he talks about like, okay, hockey players in Canada, and you could think about like school and like a bunch of things, but like hockey in Canada, has like a cutoff, like anything, right? Like if you're born after January 1st, you're in the next league. Like, right, you have to be born before that. But so then when they roll around to like December of a year, you're looking at kids born in the last 12 months, right? So obviously the kids born January, February, March
earlier,
are bigger. So,
or have more experience, or are a little more,
because they're
quote
older.
unquote advanced, but they're not more advanced.
No, they're
they
not.
just have more time.
They're just older, right?
Yeah.
So basically coaches will be like, those kids, right? Like they're better, quote unquote, like, and they'll grab them at like 10 years old. So they'll grab these kids that are like bigger, stronger, a little bit older. And then it becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy. And then those kids end up being better because coaches choose them out. And then by the time they're 18, they're fucking phenomenal. So they actually pull records from like professional hockey. And like 90% of them are born in January, February, March. There's like one born in December. Like,
I got chills.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's not, but it's like this weird, like they're honestly just lucky. Because if a coach had grabbed a player in December, but they're not going to grab those players because they're younger, they're a little less mature, and they're like maybe shorter, like because they're 11 months younger.
Currently planning my conception dates.
But it's a different way. The way we think about success is kind of skewed in scenarios like this.
But you know what's funny is there's a book that reminds me of the latter half of what you said. It's called Primed to Perform. And it essentially says the latter half. So people will meet to the level you give them. So if you expect bar A from them, they will reach it. But if you constantly talk to like your friends, your loved ones, your employees, whoever it is in your life you have influence on, if you constantly talk to them like they're not going to understand, they're not going to understand. Like they will meet you at the level you give them, which is a lot like that too. Like they expect that from them, so they just do it and they end up mastering it.
Well, 100% becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Like because they grab them so young, so the coaches choose their kids that they're going to work with who are quote unquote better, but it's just because they're bigger, because they're 11 months older.
But shouldn't they look at the potential that the younger ones have?
Well, I guess the point is it's not a fair comparison.
No, it's not.
If you're taking a kid born in January compared to a kid born in December of the same year, the kid in January has had a whole extra year on that. Like the cutoff thing. And it's the same in like schools, but it really makes you think.
Did this book give like any suggestions on dealing with that?
Well, I'm not done with it yet. I'm only halfway through.
Oh, that's right. Duh.
Yeah, I'm only halfway through. But then he talks about, and I've always thought about this, right? Like when you think about like Chase or Rockefeller, all the like rich families who are still around, because they were all born in this like sweet spot in a certain year. Same with like Bill Gates, this guy named Bill Joy, who but he was another like coding genius or whatever, and Steve Jobs, they were all born within a year of each other. They were born in this sweet spot where computers were old enough that they had access.
And they knew they existed.
Yeah, but knew enough that not everyone had them. So they're really in this sweet spot where they got to, like, they had access from colleges or whatever, but computers were so new, not everyone had them. So they had it's just.
You know what's funny about that is that means that every single person is in a pocket, depending on when they're born, that gives them an advantage.
Oh, 100%.
But you don't know until hindsight.
No, you don't.
So what's our pocket of advantage? Because we're born within months of each other.
I was born in mid-year. I'm a June baby.
Well, I'm a February baby, but we're the same year.
Yeah, but you're older than me. But I'm bigger than you. I don't know. But
so we'd both be on the hockey team? Is that what you're saying?
I'm interested to finish the book because right now he's still talking about these. But I literally read half of it. Like my bookmark is halfway through. I read half of it on the plane. It's really interesting so far. Like if anything, it's making me think about things differently.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good. I recommend it. And I have a couple other of his books that I want to read. Yeah, it's good.
Well, that's very cool. I will check that out. I love books like that make me go, hold up. My entire reality has been in Sarah land. Yeah. That's not how things work.
But I had the same funny thought that you did. I was like, oh shit, I'm only going to get pregnant to have a January baby.
I'm like, I'm setting him up for success.
Yeah. But it's not just the month. It's like, like Steve Jobs, that they were all born in the same. There's all these kind of pockets that happen. And it's literally just luck. Like,
Yeah.
if you're older than them, then you're too old by the time computers come out to kind of, quote, like, think differently.
Yeah.
And if you're way, like, younger than Steve Jobs, then, you know, like, they really just felt, not to discount. And the book is really good about being like, we're not saying Steve Jobs and Bill Gates are not geniuses, because they are.
But they also got lucky.
Yeah, there's also, and Bill Gates himself, they quote him in the book, has come out and been like, no, I was very lucky. Like, I had, you know, like, he's smart for sure, but smart's not enough.
No, and there's so many other factors, like, as much as we hate to say it, like your race, your gender, your, like, there's
they talk
so
about
many
that.
things
They
that
talk
go into
about
it.
race and gender. They talk about IQs and how IQs doesn't mean, like, it's really it's really fascinating.
I'll read it.
Yeah.
Did you buy it?
I did. Yeah.
Can I borrow it?
Yeah,
when
of
you're
course.
done?
Of course.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let us know when you finish it on whatever episode that is.
Yeah. Maybe I'll wait for you to read it and then we can talk about what we think.
True.
And that gives you guys time to read it if you want.
Yeah.
Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell.
Luminol Book Club.
Luminol Book Club. Yeah.
Leave us a review. Check out our Patreon for fun things like stickers, handmade cards, depending on the tier you're in, like a little care package, which we got to get going because we have a couple people in that tier. All sorts of fun things. That's patreon.com/luminolpod. If you want to know all the stuff we're doing, our giveaways, our fun stuff, pictures of us, blah, 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 the place to do that is Instagram. So you can find us on Instagram @luminolpod. Also, please tell your friends and family about it. Word of mouth is a big way for our podcast to grow. We've actually had a couple people, oh, this is crazy, Caitlin. I don't know if you read these messages, but we got a message from someone saying like, hey, I love your podcast. And I was like, oh, thanks so much. And she was like, I just moved to Oregon. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm from Oregon. Did you read those?
Yes.
Her like sister's husband's brother's coworker knows Evan or something, my husband, but like we don't know.
7 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
It's the 7 degrees of Evan.
Yeah.
7th Evan. Am I right?
But we're all 7 degrees away from Kevin Bacon, so we're probably like 5 away from Evan.
But I'm the lucky one because I'm 0 degrees away.
Does that make you lucky?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have a joke?
Yes. Mine's about March.
Okay.
I may have given it away.
Okay. Do you want me to tell mine first so they forget?
Yeah.
Mine's not really a joke, but I just want to tell you I'm not going to wear my glasses anymore. I have seen enough.
Oh my God. So, do you know why everyone is like super tired on April 1st?
Because they just got done marching.
They just finished a 31-day march. But I have another joke that I didn't ruin.
Okay.
Well, it's not a joke. It's just something that happened to me. So I took...
Your life is a joke.
It's me, but So I took my pony to a vet. And I told the vet, I was like, he has a sore throat. I'm really worried about him.
He's a little horse.
Stop. Damn it. I was really proud of that one.
Sorry.
Yes. The vet was like, how'd you know? And I was like, he's a little horse.
Sorry. I'm a joke ruiner.
You're so much ruiner.
We got to wrap this up because I got to pee.
Okay. All right. Well, that's that. Caitlin has to pee again. We hope that the audio is better on this one. No promises. And we will see you on Sunday if you're a patron, Wednesday if you're not, or anyone else.
Listen to Kesha.
That's not what I was going to end on, but fine. Whatever Caitlin wants at this point, we will give her. It's fine.
Bye, kids.
Bye, Illuminati.